Hello, how are you? Welcome to today's LoveCast. Today is Sunday. Let's see, it's August 18th, 2019. Please forgive the format today. It's a little bit of an ad hoc format. I put together some ideas for this today's LoveCast about the case for love, why I believe in love, why I believe love is a solution in this world. And I thought it was going to be 12 because I like the nice round number, right? But it's turned into, what is it now? It's 16. So please forgive me because I'll be looking at notes a little bit. I'll be fumbling a little bit, but maybe you're used to that by now if you're aware of my videos that I make. Okay, so this is a podcast, or what I like to call a LoveCast, and I do this every week, every Sunday. This is a little bit longer than the other videos that I share daily. Daily I share what's called a love tip, and that's like 5 minutes, maybe sometimes 7 or 8 minutes, and that has to do with a tip about how to solve different problems that come up in life, how to deal with challenges, how to have more love in your life, how to use love as a solution, as a reference, as a guide to how to live your life, right? I sound like a radio announcer there, don't I? As a guide. So anyway, try not to sound like an idiot here, but I just want to share some of these ideas about why I believe in love. So it's the case for love, and this is our LoveCast for today. So thanks for joining, and here we go, number one. Now, as an introduction, there are many key points and good reasons to focus on love as the guiding force in our lives. Here are some of them. One is there's no real framework that's taught in schools to kids. That provides solutions to life's problems or a foundation for growing up. And kids go to school and they get instruction on, mathematics or geography, whatever they're going to study there as school topics. But are there any courses? Is there anything in kindergarten, even first grade, certainly wasn't when I was a kid, that says here's how you deal with bullies, here's how you deal with challenging situations, here's how you deal with self-doubt, here's how you deal with your time schedule, here's how to live your life, here's how to deal with conflicts at home, maybe with your family, your folks, siblings. Here's how to deal with your friends outside of school when you're maybe playing football together on the weekend and there are some things that are going on there. Here's how to deal with your teachers. If your teachers, if you're not in good communication with your teacher, how do you communicate with your teacher and say, hey, I'm really having trouble. I really need some help with this. Most teachers don't have the time for that. It's just not set up for that. But when the child is aware of what's going on, they have 1,000% better chance of getting help in life when they know, hey, you're not supposed to be lost. You're not supposed to be neglected. You're not supposed to get thrown under the bus by an exam that you're nowhere near ready for. You've been neglected. You've been abandoned by everyone in your environment that should be able to help you to pass, able to help you to understand the material to move on. Not only the subjects that are vital for passing the grade, passing exams, getting good scores, absorbing the information, but also much, much more important information in schools. It's just not addressed. So there are all kinds of problems that kids face growing up that are not addressed, and most kids, except for a lucky few, they're lost and struggling with self-identity, what's right and wrong, how should I live my life, peer pressure, all the other kids are smoking, or they're trying drugs, or they're having sex where they're going to create some high school pregnancies or middle school even. Other problems that come up with friendship, study issues, and social issues. So we've got kids that are committing suicide in schools. We've got kids that are bullying other kids. We've got kids that are on antidepressants and go back and they're shooting up the school. So there are some serious situations that society is not really addressing at all, but love addresses that. And these are kids in school that need this. I know I sure did. I didn't fit in very well at school at all. I had a lot of trouble fitting in, and I didn't really learn much, if anything, at all from school. I learned from my own research, my own study. My own older brothers and sisters taught me how to tie my shoes, read, and count before I even started school. Number two, here's another point of why using love as a guide in our lives, having a love-centered life, can really be very beneficial for humanity and for society and for individuals. Understanding love creates a template and a desire for personal responsibility in community. This builds stronger communities, and that brings us a better quality of life. So when you're aware of love and how love works, you kind of have a template, you've got a framework. And it also gives you kind of a strategy for how to approach life. And it helps you to be aware of your responsibility to others. There's this crazy notion, or this crazy decision that people make, or even passively, maybe they didn't decide consciously, but they don't have anything to do with their neighbors anymore. People don't have block parties. People don't interact anymore. Somebody next door's got maybe someone who has a problem with a substance, or so with an anger situation, or there's a kid that's out of control that's having a lot of trouble. Maybe the most a neighbor might do is call the police on them. What are the police going to do? Yeah, there's good cops and bad cops out there, but no kind of cop can go in when somebody calls the police and solve the problem that a family has. How are they supposed to do that? They come and they say, okay, they apply the law where they can, but there are no laws that govern the qualities of love and applying those to a family. So we know how we can be more responsible in our community, more responsible for ourselves, take more of an active part when we have love as a guide. Number three, it takes up the slack where the government is unable to help or assist with problems in neighborhoods. So government is just, they're handling these huge projects, but when it comes down to individual happiness, individual joy, individual, having some meaning in your life, having a quality of life, the closest the government gets to having any influence on that, in America anyway, is, sharing statistics or gathering statistics about homelessness, or statistics about unemployment, or different huge topics like that, and maybe funding some programs, throwing some money at people that are starving in the form of food stamps or welfare programs and things like that. But there's not really any management there. There's no environment for nurturing. So love helps us to see how we need to nurture each other. And love precipitates things like community centers, block parties, interaction with your neighbors, and things like that, that really creates a way for us to help each other out and be active in each other's lives in our neighborhoods, where the government just can't do that. So most of the key aspects of our quality of life, the government is unable or unwilling to address. So love takes up the slack in that area. Man, is there ever huge slack in that area? Look at the problems we've got in communities. Look at the problems we've got in neighborhoods. Nothing's being done about it. And I'm talking about for decades and decades and decades, it's not being addressed, and it can't be addressed by government programs that are just, run by people that are thousands of miles away. Number four, it gives people a chance and a venue to share the love in a deliberate way. This sets an example for others to jump on the bandwagon and participate as well. So love is both LoveBudi and LoveBudi Project. It's both a forum for sharing love and a way to encourage others to do the same. So what I'm talking about here is a bridge to love. It's a bridge to love in this way. It helps people be aware of the process of the power of love, and also it raises awareness of love, education of what really love actually is and how it can be the solution. So once we have this awareness of love, we're sharing love, we help to invite other people to be part of more of a love consciousness. It creates more of an atmosphere of love. This creates more of an awareness of love in general as a concept, and also a way to participate, a way that people can say, oh, okay, I didn't know this was going on, and now that I know this is going on, I can participate in some level. I can contribute, or I can also benefit from this myself. Usually both occur. So love increases people's ability and is and their interest in being responsible for their own lives. It gives the tools and the wherewithal of self-actualization. It gives individuals more happiness and purpose, but it also makes for a better society. So it helps, when we are in tune with love, loving ourselves, we're able to help ourselves, and we're able to help ourselves to actualize, help ourselves to nurture ourselves and grow. Let's see, self-actualization. So when we're more actualized, we're going to have a more joyful life, we're going to have a happier life, and we're going to have a more meaningful life. That indirectly and oftentimes quite directly contributes to the quality of life of others all around us. Now, number 7 here, although the term can be a bit uncomfortable until the idea behind it is understood, love in general has great appeal because it stands for extremely common concepts like kindness, respect, compassion for others. I mean, these are things that everybody agrees with. These are things that we all kind of agree with, right? All these are things that all of us can kind of see the value in, being compassionate, being respectful for each other, to each other, and being kind to each other. So love has a broad appeal, and you don't have to, in order to participate in something that is a love-centered behavior or activity, it doesn't take you out of your, well, it does take people out of their comfort zone, because a lot of people are kind of shy and they don't know how to love, and they're kind of afraid of that concept. But it doesn't force one to join some club, some group, some tribe that they don't agree with. A lot of great groups out there, but they don't quite have the broad application or appeal to everyone that love does. Love, when followed, builds a better environment for integrity, so these benefits are obvious. When you follow love, you're going to be more of an honest person. You're going to have more integrity. You're going to be more industrious. You're going to keep your word. Love brings integrity, and it's obvious how that's going to improve an individual's life and those that he interacts with. Number 9, the love philosophy solves problems for an individual in their life. So once you understand love, problems that come up, whether you're a kid in school with, other kids maybe want you to smoke, or there's some kind of pressure, some kind of a conflict, or whether you're an adult at work, you're, dealing with your boss, or you're dealing with other workmates, or whether you're an individual, in a family, conflicts with siblings or your parents or your kids. Love provides a framework to solve the problems of life in general like that come up. Love is a perfect blueprint for creating more peace and harmony around us. It helps to solve conflicts as they arise, so there's not as much escalation and not so much lack of wherewithal. But when we understand love, we know how to deal with conflicts as they arrive, as they come up. Love, when applied to self and community, it's the best way to eliminate tyranny by fostering a conscious and empowered community. Love ends exploitation. So love empowers individuals to the point to where the people cannot be taken advantage of. People can be taken advantage of less and less when they have the solidarity of love, the empowerment of love, the actualization that love brings in people's lives. They're much less apt to, whether it's local government or whether it's a union or whether it's a local employer, or any way that we can be feel that we're under somebody's thumb. That happens, crooked business people, crooked politicians, anyone that might be crooked. We're less apt to be a victim to these people because of the empowerment that love brings. Love solves problems with bullying automatically. Love solves problems with drug abuse automatically. Love picks up where unions are limited and can be creating new problems where they try to solve problems. So sometimes, yes, when their employers, people need a job because they've got to feed their family, then they work for a company that is just really not treating them well at all, but they can't quit because they need to feed their family. Very easy concept to understand. And then unions come along. Sometimes unions can become extremely corrupt, and the unions will sometimes prevent people from being industrious, doing their best, and it makes the prices skyrocket. Some of the unions in Detroit, and I guess it was the 70s, I remember, the Japanese cars started coming in because the Japanese were working harder, making better products, whereas the unions in Detroit just made it so that people were making a lot of money, but they weren't really committed to doing a good job. This is when the union has too much power. Well, the accountability of love, the integrity of love, the communication of love creates more of a balanced environment to where people don't exploit each other, whether it's the union boss exploiting the company or whether it's the company's boss exploiting the workers. It's a better solution than going to either extreme. Love empowers the meek. Now, there's a joke in a Monty Python movie where they're debating, and one of the characters said, well, it's the meek that are the problem. In a way, that's kind of true, because people that are shy, people that are meek, a lot of times they don't stand up for what is right. They don't stand up for themselves. They don't educate themselves because they kind of feel overwhelmed or a little bit, they don't understand, and they feel they can't understand, and they feel like, well, that's, that whole thing, that's not my area. But love empowers us to take more personal responsibility, both for ourselves and others in our neighborhood, in our environment. And it helps us to kind of stand up and say, wait a second, I don't feel that this is right. I'm not going to be part of this, and I'm not going to stand by and watch this occur in my environment. I'm going to stand up for what is right. So love gives people the power to stand up for what is right. In this way, it balances power. The Love Project takes attention off of politics so much as people saying, oh, we elect this new guy, it's going to solve all the problems. No, it doesn't work that way. Greed, so that people think, well, if I get rich, then that's going to solve all my problems. Nothing could be further from the truth. Power struggles, where people are trying to just be more powerful. And they think, okay, if I'm more powerful, if I get a gun, or I'm tougher, or I'm stronger, I have a better car, faster car, have a bigger job, more important job, to where I'm calling the shots. All of these pursuits don't bring us happiness or joy or contribute to society, much less contribute to our own lives. So the Love Project takes attention off of those, and so many forms of tribalism where people say, I'm part of this religion, or I'm part of this race, or I'm part of this class, and that makes me better than you, or even if they don't describe it that way, it makes me different from you. So you can't really understand where I'm coming from, and I don't really care to understand where you're coming from. Love takes away that wall, and love allows us to interact with everyone with equal respect and understanding, kindness, consideration, compassion. Love as a foundation does that, whereas all of these other tribal ideas, they don't do that. They separate people by different ways. So many of these tribalism efforts are counterproductive. Maybe people feel really good because they're part of a club, but if their club is excluding others, then it can be divisive, and that can really cause problems for people who are in different clubs or not in the club. Love in this way, it brings focus to being more productive, creating positive outcomes in an effective and an efficient way. Finally, love-centered communities are automatically more aware of ecology. They'll be in favor of protecting the earth more when we have love as a foundation, love as a center, love as a guide. We're automatically going to be more considerate of the earth because we're more in tune with not only respecting ourselves and others, but respecting the planet. Let's not destroy our home. And that's happening a lot because people are not aware of the qualities of love, and they're not practicing love in communities. And this goes for treating animals too. There's a lot of abuse of animals. There are food factories where animals are being raised and really abused in order to provide meat for consumers. And there are a lot of times that even dogs and cats are abused or treated poorly. All kinds of animals can be abused if we're not in tune with love, if we don't have a respect for ourselves, others, earth, and life on earth. So this is just a part of the many ways that love can really change our lives. It changes our viewpoint, changes our communities, and it brings us more in harmony with a great way to live and a great way to go in the future, a great way to solve the problems that we have, and a great place to put our energy. And a loveless world has wars, has conflict, has poverty, incredible poverty. We've got thousands of children dying every day just because there's not enough love in the world. Plenty of clean water. There's plenty of food available, but we're not providing it to them. We're not doing that. It's easy enough to stop these problems, but because most of us aren't love-centered, we don't understand love. We haven't been introduced to love. There's no venue, and there's no framework. That's the word I'm looking for. There's no framework to say, oh, okay, I'm familiar with this concept of love, and here's how I can interact with others based upon love. Here's a way that I can bring more love to my life, not only to my life, but also to other people around me and to the community by acting in a loving way. Here's how love works. Here's how love solves these problems. Here's what love does. People don't know about that because the definition of love is unclear. The education of love is basically non-existent. And there's no venue. There's nothing to join. There's nothing to be part of. So LoveBudi, this project is designed, and it's here to help people to learn more about love, share more about love, teach more about love, participate more in creating more of a loving world. And the more we do that, the more we participate, the better world we're going to have. It's an automatic, there's a direct relation between being more loving, knowing love, teaching love, learning love, sharing love, and having a better world. Absolutely direct connection in that. So that's what the Love Project is about, and this is the case for love. This is why I believe in love. This is why I share love. This is why I think love is the key. It's the core. It's the vital ingredient that's going to make the difference in the world. A lot of people already are all over this. They're already doing the best they can. They're already kind of quite aware of love. So this is just an effort to increase love awareness, increase the movement towards love, increase the understanding of love and the practice of love, and using love as a solution. Okay, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate your time. This is just an effort to share love in the world, learn about love, teach love, create more awareness about love. My name is Matthew. This is LoveBudi. Check out LoveBudi.com. Check out the comments that come along with this video. And please take care of yourself. Love yourself. I love you. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Until then, I'll say bye-bye for now.